Okay. All right, I'm here with Dr. Levine, as you guys remember. We talked about in class, one of my favorite professors. Dr. Levine, you are the Dean of Humanities at Southwestern College?
It's a Dean of the School of Language and Literature, which includes English, ESL, reading, and world languages.
Awesome. So, Dr. Levine, tell me just a little bit about how you see the state of public schools today.
The state of public schools is, actually, I see it as very dangerous. And I could put it best in a simple sentence that occurred to me the other day, which I wrote down. I typed this up, and I say the most important struggle in education can be expressed by this question: how do we bring thinking into the classroom? Okay, if you think for a second, a person, the quality of one's thinking will determine the quality of one's learning, which will have a lot to do with determining the quality of one's life and abilities to do things in life, not only in school. And so if we say that, and it sounds like that makes sense, which I believe it does, then the question would be, so what do we mean by thinking? And if we do want to build the quality of students' thinking, first, what is thinking and how do we do it? And if we don't address that question thoroughly and most thoughtfully and continue to work at that, then my question is, what the hell are we doing?
Well, you know, it's funny because I read recently Dewey's Democracy in Education, and, you know, granted it's very outdated, but these are not new concepts. I mean, these are things that educational theorists from, you know, decades ago, centuries ago, have been talking about, but yet somehow we continue to fall back into this trap of, and I think you called it didactic memorization, really just nonsense. I mean, curriculum that's a mile wide and an inch deep. Why do we keep coming back to this?
I think, first of all, the powers that be, the establishment, if you will, I think if you see the ultimate result of having a curriculum where people don't come to school, and then all of you listening to this, what I'm saying here, just think of your own education. We don't have to do great research here. Think of your own education, except when you had the great teacher like Dr. Sheen or a few other people, really, that great 7th grade English teacher, that 4th grade, you know, who got you into science and you felt like a real scientist. Largely, a large part of your schooling, especially the part with all the testing where it was high stakes and you knew darn well you're being sorted into one track or another, and meant everything to your life, even though you're in 3rd grade or 4th grade. These tests don't determine how well you think. And so if you get a whole bunch of people going into school, and we all come to school, and we as the good students, and I'm thinking everybody who's hearing my voice here, you know, you got there. You're the good students. You're the ones who did well. You're the ones who said, if this is the system, I am going to persevere and do well, right? That's who you are. That's why you're there. Your main thinking when you came to school was, teacher, tell me what to think. Not, teacher, how can I learn how to think? Think of that for a second, and what that means, what the implications for the society, for you as a person. And then remember this statement, and you could Google it if you want, because he said it. What luck for rulers that men do not think. Adolf Hitler. Okay? Now think of that. So here you have Hitler saying, what luck for rulers that men do not think. And I could tell you in Germany, Nazi Germany, up through the 20s, 30s, 40s, that was a pretty literate, educated society. But largely this didactic, information in, information out, drag at the trash, load up again, and people not learning how to think. And so then you had rulers like Hitler, you had propaganda minister Goebbels, you had that whole thing, and they're painting the reality for the German people, a reality which didn't exist, which got them to do monstrous things. So here you have in the United States, who knows what the leaders are up to. We kind of have an idea. You have all the corporate society, you have all the commercial interests, you have all this going on, politicians who nobody could trust, maybe 1 in 20,000. And we have a society where largely in school, The good students, forget the bad students, the good students are coming expecting, actually demanding, teacher, tell me what to think.
Huh.
Not even suspecting that we have to know how to think. It never occurred to me. Trust me, I did very well in school. I took my history class, I took my Western Civ in college, my this and that. And I learned how to memorize, I learned all the tricks, how to cram. I didn't cheat, I tried to do that honestly. But I didn't learn. And I didn't learn how to learn. So I never did take science because I never did scientific thinking like a scientist thinks. I never did math because I never thought like a mathematician thinks. I never did history because I never did historical thinking. All I did was process superficially, unassimilated, unassessed, disconnected bits of information that were historical, that were mathematical, and I loaded up on it, gave it back, and moved on. And it never occurred to me, it never occurred to the teacher that what the hell was that?
Let me ask you though, when you went to Columbia, you got your doctorate in Columbia, one of the most
Teachers College, right?
Yeah, one of the most prestigious, programs in the world. Was it different there?
There were aspects of it that were different. There were aspects that were the same. The things that prepared me for what I did after I got my doctorate were, I'll give you an example. I'm very fortunate. I right from the beginning, I chose as a mentor who actually wound up teaching several of the courses I took in the Master's and Doctoral Program in Leadership, and was the chair of my dissertation committee, Frank Smith. Wonderful visionary leader in the field of education, administration, and leadership. If you want to know how he ran his classes, we would all come into class, and there were people in there who were superintendents, principals. I was a teacher. I think here's Stephen. Hey.
All right.
Hi.
Let's pause it. What's up, brother?
Right.
Good to meet you, man.
All right, let me put this in the
Let
middle.
me just pause this real quick.
Okay.